So back with an hour with the Tower, and the legend is still sat in his chair. Joe, the poker boom. What do you remember of it, and was it as crazy as it actually seemed?
I remember a lot. It was pretty crazy. I mean, the whole thing about the poker boom was that we were very, very lucky. Mm-hmm. We were in the right place at the right time, doing something that we loved before it became popular. You know, when we travelled to the World Series to play, we knew everybody. There'd be the Irish crew, the Birmingham crew. It was always the same players. Everybody would mix. Would all stay together. Everyone would have their own bar in Billions, and it was, we were doing something that we loved doing, and at the time, we were doing something pretty well. Mm-hmm. And we were the first to get a proper sponsorship deal. We set the Hendon Mob website up in 2000. We were the first to get media attention. And obviously the internet poker was taking off, and we were just in the right place at the right time. You know, if I tried to do that today, it would be impossible, and it could have been 4 other guys doing it. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Well, the boom took off more or less the year after. The buy-ins certainly went up. The $25,000 Bellagio Classic, which again was another decent memory. We got the final table. We finished 7th. Did the 25k buy-in? What does that mean? Buying in for $25,000.
It was. Do you know? I mean, obviously, it's a huge amount of money. Okay, it is a huge amount of money. We were very lucky. We were sponsored, and what I remember more than anything else is the 50,000 starting stack. It was unheard of, completely unheard of. Suited me. I could wait. I could wait and wait and wait. And I remember being on the final table.
You still got some chips left.
I'm still passing and waiting for aces. I had Paul Maxwell sat on my left. It was a pretty good final table. Rob Hollick was on the table. Chris Ferguson, Jesus, was on the table.
Yeah.
Maxwell was on my left. 2 British guys sat together, and it was obviously the World Poker Tour Bellagio Classic. It was their championship event. You had to get to the top 6 to make the TV final table. Okay.
Yeah.
They were filming and stuff, but the actual where they film every hand, you had to get to the top 6. So Paul and I are sat next to each other, and there's 7 of us left, and we've got similar chip stacks, and we're probably in 5th and 6th place, perhaps on the table, maybe even 6th and 7th for a while. We were the shortest stacks. I remember he played a hand. He limped under the gun. It passed round. Chris Ferguson raised. It got back to him, and he moved all in. Paul Maxwell moved all in. And Chris Ferguson thought for ages and called. And Chris Ferguson had pocket 10s. So everything was about pocket 10s, but we had pocket 10s. And he had limped under the gun and moved all in with ace king offsuit, Paul Maxwell. And he said to me, as he hit an ace or a king, and as the chips were being pushed to him, he said to me, but he said it loud enough so anybody could hear it, nobody else would play ace king like that. He said, that's how you play ace king. Because obviously if it had raised with it, it would have been much more tricky. This is what the point he was getting. Anyway, I finished 7th. Rob Hollick knocked me out. And Paul went on to finish 2nd. I think I cashed $160,000. I know you got it.
$188.
$188,000. Paul went on to finish 2nd for $2.1 million. If the two tens hold up for Chris, that might have been my 2.1 million. It would have been a TV final table, World Poker Tour final TV table.
Absolutely, and the names in that field were just unbelievable. But you're looking at the Ivies, the Mizrakis, the Dave Williams, just Gavin Smith, absolutely amazing.
That's pretty good players there.
Yeah,
all pretty awesome players.
Yeah, but then we changed. And I think British poker changes forever in 2007 because season 1 of the GUKPT starts in Bolton.
Walsall.
Bolton.
Okay.
Don't take away Praz Banzi's first ever victory because it was Bolton. The GUKPT, as we know, we are government sponsored. But you've travelled around the world for at least 10 years. We then go to Bolton in February to play a £1,000 tournament, and it basically changes tournament poker in Britain. Did you play the first season?
I played Walsall. That's why what I thought you were talking about.
You don't like North. You don't like going to North, is that which is?
The first ever GUKPT tournament I ever played was season 1 Walsall.
Yeah. Because you finished 7th.
And it was won by Jerome Bradpiece.
That's correct. Yeah. And obviously
televised for TV.
Televised. Yeah. Televised, and obviously it's still going strong. The GUKPT, it did change live poker. I think the tournaments, the players travelling around the country, just become a mainstay. But also in 2007, a couple more tournaments have started. One of them was the World Series of Poker in Europe for the first ever time. What did you think of this idea?
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I played the tournaments. We were sponsored players to play the World Series of Poker Europe events. We were very lucky still. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm an old romantic, Phil. And for me, the World Series of Poker is downtown Vegas in billions horseshit. Even at the Rio, it's not the same. Yes. It's too big. It's too. I can remember walking from Binions across to the Golden Nugget because we always stayed at the Golden Nugget. And as you walk through, you go past 2 or 3 bars at the sportsbook at the entrance of Binions, and then you walk past 2 bars in the Nugget before you get to the elevator. And in the early Binions days of the World Series, you'd have to stop at every bar because someone was buying you a drink. And now at the World Series in Vegas, it's not the same. And World Series of Poker Europe, it's not the World Series of Poker for me. It's a good tournament. It's a good fun festival. We had a few good years in Leicester Square in London playing it. But for me, it's not the World Series.
Yeah. First winner, can you remember? Just off chance?
It wasn't a net, was it?
It was indeed. For a straight million. It was. Beating John Tabata by heads up. There you go, 2007. And then obviously, because the poker boom started, we'd had the GUKPT, we got the WSOPE in London. We then had the Great British Poker Tour.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. We played it in Cardiff, but in the casino. Gala Casino, I think it was. And it was.
I think it was. I think it was Bristol.
It was in Bristol. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I said Cardiff. I said Cardiff because it was filmed by Presentable, the same TV company, production company, like Poker. And I always remember the final table. It was filmed and it went out on Channel 4. This show. It was filmed for Channel 4. It was a big production, and on the final table was Roland de Wolf, Barney Boatman, Rob Akery. And I got a little bit lucky. I beat Rob Akery heads up.
Yeah.
150 grand, 140 grand. And you know who presented me with the trophy and did my interview afterwards?
Who was it?
Alex Jones from The One Show.
Oh, of course it was. Yes, it was.
Before she
because Billy Richard.
Now, I mean, now she's got like 1 million followers and that. But yeah, she was from Wales and she was friendly with the people at the Welsh production company, Presentable, and she did my interview after I won it, and that was a pretty nice tournament to win. 1,500 buy-in, 100 and something prize money. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I remember that was one of the first times that we got involved because the likes of Jennifer Tilly was over and Phil Lark and the likes of Robert Williamson III.
Oh, I love those three guys. I love those three guys. I once sat at the Nugget Bar with Robert Williamson for 12 hours drinking. Just the two of us, talking about everything. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, when we finished drinking, we went and made a TV show. Yeah, it was just unbelievable. But yeah, and Phil and Jennifer, great people, great guys.
Yeah, great memories. Back with Joe Beevers and more. We're from the tower very shortly.